Don't you just hate it when someone makes a promise to you and then breaks it? It's like they say they're going to do something and then something else comes up. They have to go here or go there, and the next thing you know, you're off their list. You hate it, right? Especially when the person who breaks the promise to you is close to you. Now I got a question. Who do you think breaks their promise to you the most? Would you be surprised to learn that the person who breaks the promise most to you is you? Yes, broken promises and how that affects your self-esteem and your confidence. That's what we're going to talk about today. Hi, I'm Constance Howard, executive coach on a mission to help women gain unstoppable confidence. Before we get into today's show, you know the drill. Hit the button and click the bell so you'll be notified when any new videos are posted. And in advance, thank you for your support. Now let's get to today's show. When's the last time you broke a promise to yourself? I bet you can think of one or two or even more times when you've broken a promise to yourself. It usually happens because someone comes along and convinces us that we can put ourselves on the back burner and go off and do something else. That's the way it usually happens. And for women, it probably happens more than it does for men. Why? Because we tend to be the caregivers, and we, unfortunately, put the needs of others ahead of what we want and what we need. So I want you to honestly think about when's the last time you kept a promise to yourself. You might think, well, it's no big deal, but it is a big deal. Because if you break promises to yourself, how can you expect to hold someone accountable to breaking promises to you? Think about it. If your friend does it over and over and over again, what do you start to think? You think they're not trustworthy. You can't count on them. Psychologists say that when you repeatedly break promises to someone, well, it's a good indication that you may not value them as much as you say you do. Is that the case? Do you value you enough to keep your word? That's a tough question. I know several years ago when I wanted to go on a health and fitness kick, I would start on Sunday and I'd say, Monday, this is the week that I promise I'm going to start. And I'd start strong. Monday would be okay, Tuesday would be okay, but usually by the time I hit Wednesday, hump day, I was right back to my old habits. I wasn't going to the gym and I wasn't eating properly. It was a cycle. It felt like a pattern that I just couldn't break. But inside, I felt badly about myself. The dialogue that would kick in when I look in the mirror would be like, wow, you didn't keep another promise to yourself. You put everybody else's needs ahead of your own. And truth be told, that's because I didn't value myself the way I should. I didn't value myself as much as I valued what someone else wanted or needed. That's what it does. That's a broken promise. That's the effect of a broken promise. After a while, you begin to think you can't trust yourself. Psychologists say that keeping your promise lays the foundation for trust and respect. And if you don't have that groundwork for yourself, you're going to continue to break those promises. So, how do you begin to learn how to keep your promise, all of your promises, to yourself? Well, first off, I want you to track how many times you make a promise to yourself and you break it. What interferes? Why do you break that promise? Was it something major that happened? Or was it something that just someone asked you to do something for them and you thought, okay, no big deal? So I want you to track how often you make promises and how often you break them and why you break them. And then I want you to start small. Make a promise to yourself. Let's say you make a promise to spend 15 minutes reading or 15 minutes in meditation. Make it small so you can follow through and get the habit of that. Make the promise. Then I want you to come up with your plan of action. So if you decide, I'm going to spend 15 minutes meditating, look at your calendar, clear the time. Make sure that you have everything that you need in order to spend that time in meditation or whatever it is you want to do. If you want to go to the gym, set aside that time and make sure you guard that time. What do I mean by guard that time? Don't let anything or everything pop up on your calendar. And if it does, simply say, you know what? I have an appointment that I can't break. How many times have you said that when you had an appointment with someone else? So do it for yourself. Make a plan, make a promise, make a plan, follow through, and hold yourself accountable. Keep track of how many times you do that. The more you make a promise and keep a promise to yourself, the easier it will become. Think about it. Think about how much trust and faith you'll grow in yourself when you do that. I told you that several years ago, I would make the promise to go on a health and fitness, to improve my health and fitness, and then I'd break that promise to myself. But about a year ago, I made that promise and I followed through. I made an action plan and I assumed the identity of the person I wanted to become. Told myself I wanted to be a lean and healthy person, and I developed an action plan that I thought a lean and healthy person would follow through with. They went to the gym, they went grocery shopping, they did all of the things that it would take in order to stay on the plan, in order to keep the promise to themselves. Right? And that's what I did. I made a promise, I made a plan, and then I stuck to the plan. Now, there may be days when I slip, yes, but I go right back to my plan. It's not like it was. In the past, I would, as I told you, I'd be off the plan, and by Wednesday, I'd forget about that promise. But that doesn't happen anymore. There are things that come up, and when I have to go away and if there's not, my exercise facility isn't nearby, I think of other ways to remain faithful to myself. Keeping your promise to yourself, to me, is a real and lasting form of self-care. This is real self-care. Why? Because you are valuing yourself. You value the word you give yourself. And that's what self-care is all about. I promise. Now, what I'd like for you to do is comment below and let me know what resonates with you. Tell me, how often do you make a promise and then you break it? And tell me if you're going to start to keep track of the promises you make to yourself and how you follow through. I would love to hear that. And I think other viewers would love to know how you follow through as well. Remember, all of this that I provide here for you, I want you to use to become a better, stronger, more empowered you. And let me say, starting with a promise, right? That promise, starting to keep your promises, is one way to do that. So comment below. I would love to hear from you. And if you want to chat one-on-one with me, head over to my website and book a one-on-one appointment. I would love to chat with you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week. And oh, by the way, don't forget to hit the button and click the bell so you'll be reminded when any new videos are posted. Thanks again, and I'll see you next week.